The afternoon fell, wrapped in a soft drizzle. The drops pattered rhythmically on the old mossy roof. The alley at the end of the village seemed melancholy, but inside that modest house, a silent warmth reigned, eagerly awaiting the family's arrival. Huyen was returning from the market, carrying heavy bags on her shoulders. However, her heart beat rapidly, in time with the music of the rain. That day was not like any other. It was the birthday of Jay, her kind and hard-working husband, the man who never allowed a smile to be missing from their home despite the difficulties. As she walked, fleeting memories filled her mind. Jay working in the rain, his hands rough and chapped from labor in the fields, tirelessly striving to ensure food and shelter. She remembered how he had silently carried so much weight just so she and their daughter could live in peace. Thinking about it brought tears to Huyen's eyes. He's sacrificed too much for this family, she told herself. This time, I must do something special, something to remind him that he's never alone, that he always has us by his side, me and Maya. In the bag Huyen carried, she had prepared everything, a new light blue shirt, the shade Jay loved so much, and a small birthday cake with the loving dedication, "Happy Birthday," written on it. She had also carefully chosen the best ingredients to cook a hearty dinner, not just to feed but to express love in every dish. Her steps quickened, eager to arrive and surprise the man in her life. Outside, the rain continued to fall, but inside her, a flame of happiness grew stronger, illuminating the promise of a special evening. A home-cooked dinner, a few lit candles, and the certainty reflected in their eyes, where love shone brighter than any gift. Maya, their 7-year-old daughter, saw her mother's silhouette at the entrance to the alley and ran out with light steps, her hair still soaked from the drizzle and fluttering in the wind. Her large, curious eyes fell on the heavy bags Huyen carried, and she asked innocently, "Mom, you've bought so many things today." Huyen smiled, her breath still damp from the drizzle. "Yes, because today is a very special day. Do you want to help me prepare a surprise for Dad?" Yes, I want to help," Maya exclaimed enthusiastically, her eyes shining like stars. Mother and daughter got to work. The small kitchen echoed with the tapping of the knife on the cutting board, accompanied by Maya's giggles. The girl clumsily washed the vegetables, splashing water everywhere, but her face radiated excitement. Every time she passed the cake box, she stopped to peer inside and giggle, as if guarding the greatest treasure in the world. Soon, the aroma of caramelized fish, browned roast beef, and sautéed vegetables filled the room, enveloping the house in a welcoming warmth. The flames in the kitchen illuminated Huyen's face, highlighting the happy sparkle in her eyes. When the table was almost ready, Huyen stood still for a moment, contemplating the results. Steaming soup, plates of glistening green vegetables, golden fish, and the small cake waiting for candles. A deep emotion filled her. How long had it been since the family enjoyed such a hearty, loving dinner? She placed a hand on her chest and smiled, her heart pounding. "He's in for a big surprise," she whispered to herself. "Since we got married, I've never prepared a birthday for him the way he deserves. This time, he'll know that to me and Maya, he means everything." Outside, the rain continued to patter gently on the roof, but in that humble kitchen, the warmth of love and family reunion dispelled any chill. There was a devoted wife, a smiling daughter, and a simple happiness slowly igniting, waiting for the sweetest moment of the evening. It was late. The light rain had stopped, and the yard in front of the house glistened with scattered puddles. The familiar sound of a motorcycle echoed in the driveway. Jay was returning after a long day of work. He parked and, before even taking off his soaked raincoat, noticed the delicious aroma escaping from the small kitchen, mingling with the humid evening air. "What's going on here?" he asked in surprise, still tired. "We're having a party at home today." Upon entering, he stood still for a few seconds. A hearty dinner awaited him on the table. Caramelized fish, a tempting golden brown, roasted meat giving off an irresistible aroma, a bowl of steaming soup, and plates of fresh, glistening vegetables. The warm light from the bulb bathed the scene, making the humble space seem magical. From behind, Jay gently wrapped his arms around Huyen. He felt the warmth of her body, still damp from the rain. With a trembling voice, he murmured, "You've worked too hard. Why is dinner so special tonight?" Huyen smiled, leaning against her husband's firm chest, inhaling the scent of rain on his clothes. She whispered sweetly, I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart." He remained silent, observing every detail of the table, understanding that what was before him wasn't just food but a tangible demonstration of his wife's love and dedication. At that moment, Maya appeared, running and pulling her father's hand to lead him to the table. "Dad, come quickly. There's birthday cake too," she exclaimed, laughing, her eyes shining with excitement. The three sat together. The house filled with laughter and happy voices. Maya couldn't stop telling stories from school, how her teacher had congratulated her, how she had played hide-and-seek with her friends, while casting curious glances at the cake waiting patiently on the table. Huyen lovingly served each plate to her husband, who remained silent for a long time, his eyes moist, holding the chopsticks without moving them. "Is something wrong?" Huyen asked softly, a little worried. "Don't you like the food?" Jay shook his head. His voice, choked with emotion, came out faintly. "No, what I feel is happiness. After so many years, this is the first time I've had a birthday where I truly feel loved, valued, and accompanied." The atmosphere turned solemn for a moment. Maya looked at her father in surprise as Huyen tightly squeezed her husband's rough, worn hand. With a trembling but firm voice, she said, "You deserve it. You've always been the pillar of this family. Without you, none of this would exist." Jay looked up and found in his wife's eyes a deep, unwavering love. A tear rolled down his cheek, not of sadness but of immense joy. He nodded slowly, letting that warmth envelop him completely. The lit candles on the small cake began to shine, illuminating the faces of the three. In that humble kitchen, laughter, love, and family unity dispelled the humidity of the afternoon. For them, that birthday was not just a celebration. It was an indelible memory, a silent promise to continue walking together with love and hope toward all the days to come. After dinner, when the rain on the eaves had calmed and the house rested in a warm silence, Maya mischievously ran to her father. With her small hands, she covered his eyes and exclaimed between giggles, "Dad, don't open your eyes yet. Mom and I have a surprise for you." Huyen leaned toward her daughter and whispered softly, "Keep this a secret, okay? Otherwise, there won't be a surprise anymore." In the simple room, Huyen lit a few candles on the cake. The flickering flames illuminated the faces of mother and daughter, filling the space with an intimate, almost magical glow. Then, the two began to sing in tender voices, "Happy birthday to you." Jay slowly opened his eyes. In front of him appeared a small, simple, but beautiful cake with clumsy but heartfelt lettering on the surface. His vision blurred, and he couldn't stop the tears from welling up. "I can't believe it. I didn't expect any of this. Thank you, love." "Thank you, Maya," he said in a choked voice. Maya clapped enthusiastically, jumping up and down. "Dad, make a wish." With his hand over his heart and eyes closed, Jay whispered, "I wish that our family will always be as happy as it is now." He blew out the candles, and the flame went out, leaving a thin trail of smoke that rose slowly, as if carrying his wish to the night sky. The cake was cut and shared. The three sat together, sampling sweet morsels amid laughter and joking. The cake tasted delicious, but the sweetest thing that evening was the joy they shared. Maya told more stories from school. Huyen lovingly served an extra piece to her husband, silently gazing at her family with eyes brimming with love. When the small celebration seemed to be ending, Huyen stood up and disappeared for a moment. She returned with a box carefully stored in the closet, placed it in Jay's hands, and said gently, "Please open it." Jay held it with trembling fingers and lifted the lid. Inside was a new light blue shirt, the color he had always cherished but never dared to buy. In the warm light, the fabric seemed to shine. Surprised, he murmured in a broken voice, "Did you really buy me a shirt too?" Huyen looked at him tenderly, smiling. "Every day you go to work in your old, worn, faded shirts. I want you to have something new, something that makes you feel confident and proud. Try it on and see if it fits." Jay stood up and put it on carefully. The fabric fit perfectly over his strong body, and a spark of emotion appeared in his eyes. He turned to his wife and daughter, who were beaming at him. In that moment, he understood that it wasn't just a garment. It was a symbol of love, care, and hope. He approached and hugged Huyen tightly, unable to contain the tears rolling down his cheeks. "I need nothing else in this life, just you and Maya by my side. But I will always carry this gift in my heart." Maya ran toward them and wrapped her little arms around them. Her clear laughter filled the room, merging with her parents' excitement. Outside, the night enveloped the world in silence, but inside that humble house, the candles, smiles, and hugs had woven an eternal memory. A birthday that wasn't just a celebration but confirmation that true happiness is found in the simplest gestures, in shared love and family unity. That night, when the fog covered the eaves and the small house rested in silence, Huyen and Maya slept soundly in the warm room. Their rhythmic breathing was like a soft melody that filled the space with peace. Jay remained awake, sitting silently in the living room. On the chair lay the new shirt, still carrying the fresh scent of the fabric. He contemplated it for a long time while countless thoughts churned inside. "In my entire life, I haven't given much to Huyen," he thought. Just an old house, simple meals, and days of constant struggle. Yet she is still by my side, loving me, caring for me, even making an effort to prepare surprises just to see me happy. Jay's chest shook, not with sadness but with profound happiness. He understood that Huyen's love was his greatest strength, the reason every sacrifice had been worth it. He bowed his head slowly, tears streaming down his cheeks, not of pain but of gratitude and joy. Inside, a silent promise took root. "I must live up to this love so that Huyen and Maya may always have peace and happiness by my side." The day before, Jay had worked tirelessly from early morning, trying to increase his output to earn extra income to repair his broken motorcycle, the very tool that served as his lifeline. But that evening, during the family's warm dinner, an unexpected event occurred. Little Maya wasn't her usual lively self. She sat beside her mother with a sad demeanor, her spirit weary. It was possible that a recent flu outbreak at school had affected her, perhaps caught from her friends. Seeing Maya so listless weighed heavily on Huyen's heart, pulling her mood down as well. That night, as Jay prepared to leave after their conversation, Huyen went to check on Maya. Suddenly, she let out a piercing scream. Jay rushed to her side and found Maya burning with a high fever, her body radiating heat. Huyen was at a loss, overwhelmed with panic, but thankfully, Jay was there. He quickly took Maya to the hospital. What happens next? Stay tuned for the continuation of this story in the upcoming episodes.